on before, but for the people, in case they don't remember, can you tell them how old you are, who you are, and then just like a brief overview of why you wrote Lost in Child Welfare?
Absolutely. Well, for those of you who don't know, my name is Ashley S. Stokes. I'm an author slash motivational speaker. And I'm just me, authentic myself, authentically myself, I should say. I chose to, what do you say, how old I was? I'm 31. I'll be 32 this year on the 4th of July. And I chose to write my story because I wanted to get my word out there, and letting people know that, you know, I'm a person who's been through some tragic situations, but again, like I mentioned before, I'm not what I've gone through. Here I am now. And I just recognize that there are so many people out there just like me. At the time, I really didn't think that there was like women like me or people, period, just in general, going through similar situations. And I think the background of that, what I'm going through as far as like foster care, I just chose to, put my time and my effort into Black women, particularly because I think that we really need to build a community around our issues or our traumas that we've gone through, particularly, childhood traumas, because we don't talk about that. And it's kind of like a breeze over, like, yeah, I've been through this, but no, like you that way for a reason. And I think getting rid of that excuse of saying I'm this way just because, I think that's one of my pet peeves, probably saying like, yeah, that's just how I am. Like, no, you just not that way. It's the reason why you are not trusting of people. Where did that stem from? You know what I mean? So really trying to dig deep and dive into it because I'm a deep person, and sometimes being too deep could, probably, come off the wrong way. But at the same time, I like to get to the nitty gritty of things. So I love the fact that I am in this place to get people to see not only myself, but get them to see themselves as well. Like, damn, like maybe I should talk about this, or maybe I should, bring this up. This will help release some of those demons that we trying to fight. Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard that saying, but like we all got them demons in the closet. So really just trying to pull them out and, let them souls go free. Because we keep packing it down and putting it in a closet, and it's just, enough is enough. And I feel like, healing is, it's a holistic journey, and we just have to, it's never ending, it's never going to stop. So every day you learn something, you grow from it. That's you healing from that. Like, okay, yeah. So that's the main thing of what I do. Right now I'm just, building my community around women, Black women, again, like I mentioned, and um having people see my light, and it somehow seemed to be working. So yeah,
Indeed,
I'm just keep doing that.
indeed, and I'm glad you are. So to kind of go back and backtrack from
Hmm.
the last time you were on the show. So writing your book, you said you're 31.
Yes, I'll be
So
32. I had to think about it. Like, wait a minute now.
girl, you all sorry. Like what?
Right.
But thinking about your life story and being
Hmm.
only 31 years old, like what was the drive behind you getting your story out at this time?
I think the drive behind it was, I mean, it was me. I wanted to really tell my shit. Like, I really wanted to get it out there and get people to see that, yeah, there are some positive stories um that comes from foster care, but not all of them. So it's like, the first thing you hear when you tell somebody that you were in foster care, that's like, it's always like, damn, I'm sorry to hear that. It's like, how come, why do we have such a negative stigma on this particular group when in fact it should be the complete opposite? Like, dang, I know they taking care of you over there, but it's so different. So I really wanted to let people know, like, look, I've been writing for a long time, and I kind of wanted to just get it out there, like release this burden that was over my head. And like, I think a lot of it was the slow up of it was, I was thinking more so like how people was going to feel and think about me. That's why, you know, my story, my truth, kiss my ass is a movement. Like, this my shit. Like, okay. Like, it's they gonna feel how they gonna feel anyway. And I can't even tell y'all. I mean, even just more recently, you know, people reaching out to me, you know, about what I'm saying, and it is what it is. Like, this is what happened, and I'm sorry, I can't keep it a secret no more. Like, it is what it is. It's in a book, so it really ain't a secret. Like, you know, and that was just like a week ago. So it's kind of like, you know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, but in the end, it's gonna be my story, my truth. Kiss my ass.
Kiss my ass.
So
Yes. And you got a whole ISBN number, so it's out there.
yeah, I mean, it's out there already. Like, we ain't tripping no more.
It's definitely out there, and you do in your stories and your Instagram stories, you will detail out like just different scenarios and different experiences, and then you always end it with my story, my truth, kiss my ass, which is the Ashley S. Stokes, which is why you got emphasis on the S in the middle. Like, you got to have it in there
Yeah.
because it's
I mean,
part of
don't
your
forget the
tagline.
S.
Don't forget the S. That's all I'm saying. Just don't forget the S.
Listen,
But I love that because it's so empowering, right? It's like, look, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. This is, you can't tell me, you're not going to gaslight me and tell me that I didn't have the experience that I did. I have the right to speak my truth, whether it makes you uncomfortable or not. Don't listen to it if you don't like it, right? But this is still my truth, and maybe it's offensive to somebody, maybe it's hurtful to somebody, but it's more hurtful to me to keep it bottled up because now I have to stifle my healing to make you feel comfortable. If you don't like it, keep scrolling.
Yes,
hey,
like
keep
that's, and I think that's a lot of why I chose to do the my story, my truth, because with so many people, like I'm at this place now. I feel like you got to tread lightly with me because I might put your ass in the book quickly. Like, so it's like, so you gonna feel some type of way, and you know it happened
scrolling.
to me, like you were present for all of these things, and it's like, why wouldn't you want me to feel better? And at
Right.
that moment, it's kind of like, if you don't want me to feel better, then I'm sorry, like you cut, like you immediately cut. Like, I don't even want no parts or no dealings with you because you don't care about how I feel or like my well-being in me just on my healing journey, period. You know, these are things that I've recovered from, of course. But as I continue to grow and, you know, show myself a different side of me that I'm honestly haven't seen before, I've never been in a place where I can just openly talk about the things that I've been through and not feel no way. Like, that's, I mean, that's the most liberating feeling of my life. Like, and just even doing it daily on Instagram, it's kind of like, wow, like, look what you're doing. And I know that it's so many other people that are similar to me, and like that's my, that's those are my, like, in energy people. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just people in my life that I feel like that helps propel me to get to the next level and helps me keep going because the feedback that I get from people is kind of like, damn, I would have like clipped somebody if I was you. Or a lot of it is like, damn, I'm surprised you ain't in jail. Like, you, like, and I get it. I get it. And, but I'm not though. So, I
Right.
mean,
But you're
like, there's nothing too hard that you can't conquer. There's nothing too hard that you can't ever get over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the message. Like, yeah, I was there, but I'm here now. So holding on to things is just not something that I want to do, especially when it comes to healing and trauma. You'll forever
yeah.
be in a dungeon if you do that.
Yeah.
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 I'm glad that you're freeing yourself and speaking your truth.
Hmm.
And
For
for the
sure.
people who don't like it, like you said, if you, well, for
I
me,
mean,
my thought is,
it's
you don't
the
like
slogan.
it, like literally, if you don't, well, to me, if you didn't like it, then you shouldn't have done it,
Right.
right? If it's
Right.
going to bother you that I'm going to free myself by speaking
Hmm.
about it, then you shouldn't have done
Yeah.
it. Or if you were there witnessing it, if it makes you uncomfortable that now I'm speaking
Yeah.
out about it, you should have been accountable then. I was a child,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
Right.
Do better,
Right.
right? If anything, you should at least be like, look, I'm sorry that I didn't serve you in the way that I should have,
Yep.
but I'm
Yeah.
glad that you found your own freedom.
Hmm.
Yep. And
Yep.
people also
It's
have to understand that, hey, you're not doing this for them. Like, this healing
Right.
is yours.
It's for me.
Accountable for
it's for
that,
you.
and it's mine. And the way that
Hmm.
I choose to heal doesn't have anything to do with you. Like, I'm not
Right.
even
Absolutely.
thinking about you. Like, this is solely about.
And
Hmm.
And Chanel and I, we talk about how whenever you experience trauma, like you have to do your own rehab, right? And
Oh
how
yeah, for
oh,
real.
nobody gets to tell you how to rehab. Your rehab might be different than my rehab, right? I might write a
Hmm.
journal and never publish it. You might write a journal, turn it into a book. But
Right.
whatever is going to allow you to get to the healing, that's what you need
Hmm.
to do.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
I want I want to get into the book, child.
Okay.
So you start off talking about how yelling and screaming is what woke you up. So it starts off with you being 4 years old, and you're talking about how normal 4-year-olds tend to have certain dreams about like being a Disney princess, which I have a niece who's 4. Her name's Ariel. She literally thinks that she's Princess Ariel. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, those are totally, normal things for a child, but how you were in such a different situation. And then you even kind of talked about how you almost as a way of escapism wish that you were other people, like, oh, I wish I was Ashley Banks, she's cool, or I
Hmm.
could be Miss
Yeah.
Frizzle. So
Hmm.
as a 4-year-old, were you aware that the baseline of your life was not normal?
I don't think that I was aware of it. I think that, hearing yelling and screaming was more so like, this is what I'm used to. This is a normal thing for me. So I didn't really recognize that waking up, from yelling and screaming was a thing. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, this is normal for me. I'm up. If I don't hear nobody in the background talking, then that's maybe not normal.
Mhm.
But if I'm typically waking up that way, then absolutely, I felt that that was more normal than people not talking or being, like good morning, a proper greeting, things like that, and just getting people to like recognize that that was a little bit different from me. So, um, at 4 years old, no, I didn't recognize that it was not normal, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, because four is that's
You
really,
really kind of can't, it's you young, you
yeah.
can't really like, I couldn't really dictate what was normal or not because I didn't too much comprehend or understand what normal was. My normal was yelling and screaming,
Yeah. Yeah.
to communicate, even
But
like,
it's
you haven't,
it's
go
crazy,
ahead.
even at 4 years old, like, you have that memory, that distinct memory
Mm-hmm.
that sticks out in your head, that
Mm-hmm.
I knew at this moment in my 4 years of life that there was a turn happening. The tables were
Yeah.
turning. I knew something
Mm-hmm.
was going on. Um,
Yeah.
and that led to the trajectory of your time in child welfare and the things that
Mm-hmm.
you experienced and happened to you throughout that course of time. But yeah, shout out to Wendell in our live chat right now. He said healing is just the forgiveness. It's for you
Mm-hmm.
and not the other person.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Wendell with the words, but that's true. It's all for you. So anybody
Mm-hmm.
who has an issue with it, it's showing. Like, they're kind of.
Yeah, it's always gonna be that. I think I don't think I posted on Facebook today that in black households that it's always, we got that secret about what that it thing that happened in the household. You know what that it thing is, but why we always trying to keep a secret with that? Like, I'm the person, I'm not keeping no more secrets, and I'm okay with people knowing these things about me because I've healed from it. Like, there's nothing that you can tell me that is already published. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm cool with a lot of things, but I can never understand why we want to keep that it thing a secret. Like, this is what happened to me in the household, and it didn't happen to a lot of people in this particular family. I'm sorry. Like, why are we keeping this person a secret?
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is, or this thing that happened a secret, or this situation, whatever it is, abuse and neglect of a child, I'm totally against it. Like, I don't care what the kid did. Like, we don't do that to children, and because that's innocence. You taking their innocence away from whatever. That's why it's so important for us to like explain and have conversations with children. We The things that we do or did, or the things that happened to me, that was never supposed to happen. Not even like in a million years would I think that, you know, the things that now that I'm healed from it, that it should have
Yeah.
been happening.
And honestly, keeping the secret allows the cycle to continue, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, we ain't keeping
now
no secrets
I
on it.
can't heal from it, and I can't stop it from happening to anybody else
Right.
because I'm being shamed, even though I'm the victim,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Now I got to carry around this shame. I got to carry around all the hurt. So
And
that's
it's
why I'm so proud
terrible.
of you for owning it, for
Yeah.
just owning. And
Appreciate you.
also, when you get to tell your story, you get to accept
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Mhm.
Like you get to be
Absolutely.
like, I'm gonna love this part of me too, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like because it's not gonna dictate who I am.
Yeah.
That's something that
Mm-hmm.
happened to me, but that's not who I am.
Not the
Um,
Absolutely.
very early on in the book, you kind of talk about how, your mom was a kid herself when she had you. I think you said she was 18 and there were two of you,
Yeah.
so you and your sister.
Yeah.
And so it made me wonder, because then, eventually you end up with the Copeland. So it made me wonder, did you did you have an evolving idea of a mother, or like what did you in your mind, like how did you picture a mother, and has that
Mm-hmm.
definition changed or evolved as you move through the different houses,
Right.
and how has it changed or evolved given that you're an adult now?
That's a lengthy question. um, so what happened in that situation? I think, as I always say, a kid wants nothing more um than their mother, regardless of what it is. My
Yeah.
mom just she didn't use drugs. She wasn't out like, doing things that I saw as crazy. But I mean, abandonment is a big thing when you are. Think about it. You 17, you 18 years old with a baby. It's kind of like I'm a baby too. I'm still out here trying to move and groove and live my life. And for someone who's 18 years old with two babies, and it's like, and they're close in age, I don't want the responsibility of that. But thinking about it more so like, maybe she didn't know what motherhood was herself. So she didn't experience it at all, because how she grew up, and she
Mhm.
grew up much different from me. Grew up with my biological family. It's just so that, the disconnect with me and my mom is more so now because of she hasn't like accepted the things that has happened and released herself from that. So what I saw as a mother was somebody who was always there, right? Having being able to have like conversation, not like I'm the mother, you the child, because that's she will forever have that mindset. And it's kind of like, wait, you didn't even raise me. Like, take some time out to get to know me, for who I am, because I am a woman now. I am no longer a kid where you had the opportunity to take advantage of, like, okay, like, let me try to really build this relationship with my kid. So, from what I saw a mother as was non existent, I saw absence. I saw someone who just wasn't there for me how I thought a mother should be there. I just think that, from what I know, from what I see from people's parents, they always there. They there for great advice. I mean, I think the smallest things are beautiful. Like to come over your mother's house for a Sunday dinner, like, to have conversations where you're interacting and maybe telling jokes. Like I find beauty in the smallest things in relationships where like my friends have great relationships with their parents, and I flock to people who have amazing relationships with their. It's almost like a requirement on my friends list. Like, what's your relationship like with your mommy and
Right.
daddy? Like, so it's kind of like I to that, or even the best like sibling relationships, because that's not something that I grew up with. I'm a lot of things in my life are absent, right? It's things that I wish that I had, so I kind of flock to people who have it. So if you're asking more so what I saw a mother as, you know, absent. I saw her as being absent in the relationship right now. I've chose to release my mom. I have a lot of friends who are kind of like, Ashley, I don't even see how you deal with how she is, because it's like the utmost disrespect. And I think that has a lot to do with her. This ain't this ain't about me.
Right.
Like what you doing to me right now in the present has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you owning the fact that you can't own your shit. That's why, again, my story, my truth, kiss my ass. It's about ownership. You got to own who you are first in order for you to move on and keep pushing, man. Like if you don't own that shit and love every piece of your story in case whatever it is, if it's ugly, if it's beautiful, you still have to be able to own it so that you're able to tell this story one day, maybe to your kids. Like, I can't wait to have children to tell my kids, like, this is something that happened to me and seeing the beauty in of it, of just keep going. Like, you don't give up regardless of what you've been through. I think that's just beautiful. And I would love to have a conversation with my mom and tell her as much as I want to, but things don't turn out how you want them to. I've always gotten just a little bit at a time to her, but not everything that I want to say. And I've accepted the fact that it won't happen. I've accepted the fact that it never will happen because I just can't deal no more. Sometimes you putting yourself in harm's way and you know the result of what it is. It's like, that stove hot. Why the hell would you keep touching that stove? Like, don't
Mm.
don't don't do that, right? And I feel like my mom is the stove, and I kept trying to love her and really, put it out there like I'm here for you. But in actuality, I just need to be here for myself and stop touching the stove, regardless of I was, that's your mom. What if something happened to her? Like, were you, and I just gotta, what I'm working on now is I hope the universe, heals my heart for that time,
Mm-hmm.
for whenever it comes, because there will be a time where, you know, she just not here on earth or I'm not. And I just want my soul to be free and be like, I tried. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with leaving her in 2021, um, because I just can't do it no more. So that's where our relationship is. We just not, you know, it just ain't working. It don't work.
So for the past like 10 days, I've been doing this morning devotional with an
Hmm.
amazing minister, Camille Monk, Camille Monk Ministries. And I
Hmm.
forget which day, maybe it was like day 5 or day 6, but she was saying how a lot of times we want stuff so bad and
Yeah.
it just be God's plan for us. And she was talking about how, she wanted stuff with her mom, her dad, and why this and why that. And she said God he's purposeful, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of times we want things because we want to feel a certain way, but a lot of times
Yep.
he's just trying to get purpose done. And she said, she had to accept the fact that her parents came together to have her,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that it's just to that extent. Obviously, I don't know what it is, with
Hmm.
your mom, how everything happened and where you guys are going to end up. So I just hope that it ends up the way that it's supposed to, right, according to God's plan.
Absolutely.
Um, but that's one thing that did stand out to me because I too sometimes want things to be a certain way, but then sometimes
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm going to accept,
Right.
things for what they
It's about
are.
acceptance.
Because
Yes.
to your point, the whole thing about the stove, it's like you're going to literally kill yourself
Yeah.
trying to
Mm-hmm.
touch this stove, and you already know that the stove is hot. So do
It's
you
no
need to
point.
die before you get it, or what? So I totally
Hmm.
get it. But I do know that, like you said, at some point, one of you guys won't be here, and you definitely want to have peace with however you chose to navigate the
Hmm.
situation. But it certainly
Absolutely.
is a tough one, right? Because
It
it
is.
forces you to choose yourself, right? And
Yep.
in doing so, because I know for me, like I told Janelle, and I think I said this on one of the podcasts before, but anytime I feel like I have to abandon myself to choose somebody else, that's
Hmm.
when I know I can't do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have to. Like, I'm not gonna choose me or you, like, because I'm the most important thing in my life. It's essential,
Right.
and it sounds selfish, but that's really the way it is. Like, you
You
have
gotta be that way.
to, and you do have to be that way. And I totally understand you, Ashley, just with the relationship with my own dad. And, you know, for a long time, I was just like, I can't deal with that. Like, I have to leave him where he is. So I think it took a little more healing for me and a little more of me getting where I needed to be. So some alignment on my part and his part so we can meet halfway. So I can't do the work by myself and just try to extend that to you. You have to do your part too. And if it's not, then this ain't the time to do that.
Exactly.
You know, when that alignment happens, you know, we can see what happens and where it goes and how it'll work. But at any point, I'm gonna choose me, and I have to make sure that I'm healed enough to
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's good. That's good. Wow. And it also makes it, and you sharing your story, and I love your like story times.
Story time be cracking. Story time be cracking, honey.
So that is what sticks out to me when you share glimpses, whatever.
Of the photos after.
The past. When you share past photos of you as a child, because outside looking in, and you know, if I were somebody who had not read your book and didn't know you, like looking at
wouldn't know.
I'd be like, okay, she was smiling, like her childhood looked pretty normal to me. Like some of it reminded me of my own childhood, like just posing and smiling and always having a smile on your face.
Yeah.
But you were
Winnie the Pooh was my favorite though. Winnie the Pooh was my favorite. Like I think that's why I really like highlight the Copelands a lot, because them two people in my life, they really did more for me mentally that I took from just that little piece of me having that time with them in my childhood now. And I wish that they were here to see, like, because they've installed so much in me. And I just be thinking back like, damn, I love gardening. Miss Copeland really taught me how to garden. Like, and just like little small things, and having that father-daughter relationship, being saved from the parent, like that was always strict. Because I always feel like the moms are a little bit more strict on the girls than they are on the guys. And I don't know what it is with, you know, like the parent dynamic of relationships with opposite sex, but I feel like, you know, Mr. Copeland always saved me. Like it was, you know, it was always a moment of like, you know, maybe she just had a fun day in school. That's why her hair is messed up. Don't put her on punishment today. Like, so, and them not even knowing that, you know, what was going on in the background. And it's kind of like I enjoyed the fact that I felt a part of their family because they made it important to do that. And it's like, this not my foster daughter, that's my daughter. Like, and you know, in Mr. Copeland's last will and testament, I think I said this on the last show, but if I didn't, it was for his daughter to have me as his goddaughter, or her goddaughter. Like, make sure she goes to school, make sure that she's finished. And that was in 2008 when he passed away, and Miss Copeland passed away in 2001 or two, one of those. But they really did a lot for me mentally then, that I've carried on with me now. You know what I'm saying? Even with the bad, that's why I told that story today. Like, I chose to stay because of me feeling a part of something, and wanted to have the opportunity to just feel loved by parents. I'd rather have felt loved by my parents and suffer, because I've never had that shit before. Like, I've never had that mother-daughter or father-daughter relationship with two people at one time. And I think that was the thing for me. Like, I love them that much that I put myself through more mental pain and, you know, physical pain at the time. But like, it, to me, when I was a kid, it was worth it. But as I grew and, you know, got a little bit older, how much that had on my impact, and, you know, just like relationships, intimate relationships, and just growing through life and feeling like I wasn't wanted because of the things that happened to me. And it's like, nah, girl, somebody wants you. You want you, girl. You want you. Doing on some
Right.
Issa Rae shit. You want you. You a
Yes,
baddie.
yes.
Like,
I mean, it's
so
me. I'm feeling like it's me season right now.
Okay.
it's definitely me season. So I love the fact that, I have like little highlights from my life. Um, so when you look at my picture on my story today, yeah, you saw me smiling because I got that Winnie the Pooh set that I kept saying that I wanted. And like they heard me. You know what I'm saying? My whole entire room was Winnie the Pooh. Like Winnie the Pooh comforter, Winnie the Pooh, everything. Like, I mean, you know how you used to have like what is the wallpaper, but you put it at the top around the whole entire room.
Border.
Order.
The border, I had Winnie the Pooh everywhere, draped, okay? Like, and for a foster family to really take their time to put in like something as small as Winnie damn the Pooh,
Yeah, because
like
they
that was like love for me.
yeah.
So I received that in just that little bit amount of time, and you know, shit happens.
No, it I mean it does really stick out because in the beginning of your book you talked about how people always talked about you, but
Yeah.
they
Hmm.
never asked you directly about anything.
All
It
the
was like, "Oh,
time.
Ashley needs this or she needs that or she got to do this or she can't do that." And you're like, "I'm standing right here."
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's like almost like you were just this object who was
I'm a
watching your
number.
life happen to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. I was always a
I
number. It's crazy that you say that. And just to your point, um, I remember my case number.
Mm.
And like I was telling someone this the other day, like in foster care, you get a case number, right? And as a case, you just to me, I was just number 7558260. Like that's
mm,
it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like damn, I'm really a case number. Like, and nobody really see me for me. Like,
right.
regardless of what I've been through, regardless of what you read on that paper, because what you read on that paper is incidents. You're not gonna really know who I am. Again, like I always feel like people who read papers on you really don't know shit about you. Okay, you. I always say it too. 21 years old, you coming out of college, you finna tell me about me, girl. You scared to do this job.
Exactly.
You scared to do this job. And when you get in this job, that's why the turnover rate so high for social workers, because they are terrified. And then they get these stories and then they read these stories and they just can't believe their eyes, like, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
Like, so you get 20 caseloads and you just so happen to run across somebody like me. I'm sorry, like you're not gonna be able to tell me nothing. Like nothing. I feel like there's nothing that I haven't been through
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm,
based off of my childhood. Like, and I think that piece of it is truly what made me feel like I'm unbreakable. Like, can't nobody break me unless broken, but can't nobody break me. Like, there's nothing that you're gonna be able to do that could break me. Like, and that's what makes me feel good. That's what empowers me to keep going. That's what propels me. That's my drive because I look back and then I see like the photos that y'all see. Like you said, here's a glimpse of what you saw. You'll see a kid that's smiling, holding up a Walmart freaking jogging set, the pink one where they had every color. And I got every color. But it just so happened that I like pink at the time. And I got a Winnie the Pooh little shower little set with a zip around it. Like that was you see that, but you also seen a smile on my face. That's why it's so important. Like people don't really know what you've been through, and you don't never know like where somebody comes from just because you see a smile on their face. Like like that person probably really been through some shit. We just need to love and embrace
Mm-hmm.
on
yeah.
people so much more. Like they're more than just their name. They're more than just that case number. They're more than who they are. They are somebody. Like, and I just feel like shit. I'm
And they're
somebody.
more than who they are to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I love that more than your case number. That
I'm
like
more than
yeah,
my case number for real because, like, why? Like, why would you even want to address somebody as a
mm,
case number? Like, and just to that's why it's so important for me to feel important. Like, I have to. It's a thing with me and my friends. Like, it's a thing. Like it's, and I always take it the hardest because I feel like I wouldn't do people how they do me. So like my friends, I asked them for my 30th birthday to like show up for me. I
Mm-hmm.
need y'all to show, because I'm gonna go hard. Like you ain't gotta worry about me. Like, and I think I'm just a loyal friend, but once trust is broken, like I kind of take it very hard because I don't understand. Like, damn, why would you do that to me? Like, I can't comprehend that, and that's something that I'm still working through. But it's important for people to show up for me because
It's a
I
love
need
language.
that.
Yeah.
I need that. You got to show up for me. And it's as hard as it may be for a lot of me to admit that I want people to show up for me. I love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love being loved. Like, love on me because I need it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what love looked like when I was a kid. So, I
Exactly.
mean, it is what it is. Like, I have to say it in almost every relationship, even outside of intimate ones, because we always think of like love me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's important for me to love me too
Mm.
and have other people love on me. So I'm gonna love me. I just need you to love on me.
That's the part.
So,
Right.
That's the part.
That's good.
That is.
That's a quote.
It is.
uh
That's definitely
oh.
gonna be a video clip. But no, because that is so important. Like, not only do
hmm
I need to be loved on, but I need to make sure that I'm reiterating to love myself too. Like, it
Yeah,
starts with me. And I'm gonna tell
everything starts with
someone
you.
else what to do because I'm loving
hmm
myself. So you're
Absolutely.
just doing it by example because I've already shown you what it looks like.
hmm
But I'm sure that definitely comes from your childhood and
It
you know,
definitely do.
for that and longing for that parental relationship. You posted that today. Like, have you ever like wanted it so bad, like that love from your parents? And girl, I know all about it. And but then
It for real.
looking for that love, that missing piece, sometimes in the wrong spaces. But as you grow and
Yep.
heal, you learn like it was in me. Like I had that love in me already. I just needed to
Yep. I just needed to give it to myself.
mm,
And I think that too, I think a lot of times we do talk about love languages and oh, mine is this and mine is that, but I think we also need to understand why,
yeah.
right? Like
Yes,
I
for
know,
sure.
like I want people to show up for me because I have abandonment issues. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
I'm be the first person to
So,
tell you that I got a bad
right. But and speaking of that, so I can't think of what Tina Knowles' show is called,
hmm
but Tiffany Haddish was on there and she was talking about how she buys suitcases for kids in foster care.
Aw.
Cause
And she was
black
sitting
bags.
there. Yes. And so then I read this in your book and I was in tears. Like I was like,
Wait, I'm
oh
sorry.
my God.
Why did she buy them suitcases?
So Tiffany Haddish, she has like an organization, right, to try to, do different things for the community. But one of the things that she does is she buys suitcases for kids in foster homes because she said when it's
Oh, they
time for
give
you
you
to
like a
leave the
black
home,
bag.
they just give you the black bags and you
I don't
feel
even buy black
like
bags.
she said you feel she said you literally feel like trash.
hmm
Aw.
And so, and
Like
then she went on
it's
to say,
terrible.
like, somebody bought her a suitcase one time and it became like an adventure. Like, because, when people travel, it's exciting. They're going to pack, they're going to go.
hmm
Right. And so she just wanted the kids to have an opportunity to not feel like trash and to feel like, okay, you get to go somewhere. Like, this experience may not be bad because we ain't just taking out the trash. Like, you're moving, like, you're going somewhere. And so then when I read that in your book, and I mean, it was just like one sentence, and you were just like the black bags, I was just like in tears because I feel like there's a lot of undertones
People don't
to that
understand that black
sentence.
bag. Like, and that's exactly why it's in there because all you feel like is trash. Like, and imagine, just imagine, because if y'all know the crazy lady, y'all don't like the crazy lady.
Mm-mm.
So in my stories, I wrote about the crazy lady, and she was one of those people who, took my black bag and just dumped it out. Like she took everything, and it was little and nothing. My Winnie the Pooh stuff was in there that I traveled from. Like it was stuff that I collected over the years, and just imagine somebody taking all of your belongings that you ever known that you've collected over a period of time, and while the social worker is there and just dump your shit. Man, just the thought of just hearing multiple things. You know how when you looking for some in that bag, and you want to flip that bag over and upside down, and everything is falling out of that bag. And it's like, here's my little piece of life that I had to immediately grasp my arms out and pull it close to me because it was mine. Like,
Mhm.
why would you want to do that to me? Like, and I just think that the world is such an evil place sometimes. And that black bag, I don't even buy black bags in my house. That's
Wow.
forbidden in my house. I don't, because I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they smell.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
That's
like I don't want to ever have black bags in my house, like ever.
Very triggering.
that
Oh,
is.
that's a
Uh,
trigger.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't like black bags. I don't like for people to touch my things either.
Mm,
Um, just from that one incident, having somebody be very intrusive on your
Mm.
items. Um, like, going through your little things that you had, the very little that you had. So it's like, I'm gonna tell y'all, I was dating a guy, and you go in the bathroom, and you know how you got your decorative towels. You got your decorative towels sitting there, and I know if you one of them people who like, don't touch my decorative towels, don't dry your hands on my decorative towels. Um, I felt like when I was in foster care, like I had, all my things. I used to sit everything neatly to see if somebody went in my room. I would almost put like something behind the door just to see how far it's pushed back to see
mm,
if somebody walked in, right? So to go in my room, come home from like school or whatever, my stuff just tossed up, right? So I was dating a guy. He went in the bathroom. I told him way before, like, don't ever touch my decorative towels. That's like against the law. Like, don't do that. Dry your hands on a paper towel or a napkin or whatever. Like, here's things for you to do that. That just so happened one day he just wanted to go ahead and touch my decorative towels and dry his hands on my decorative towels. Like I went up in flames. Like it took me all the way back. And this was 2 years ago. So this is how I know I was really triggered. And it's like, why would you touch my stuff and I told you not to do that? Like, why would you break me like that? Like, and I had to tell him why. He was like, well, it's just decorative tiles. Like, you can dry your hands on there. So now I have to really explain to him, pull all the way back. Like, he don't know why I'm asking him to not touch my shit
mm.
because it takes me back to a place where I've always had my shit touched. Like, don't touch it if I say don't touch it, and then we won't have no issues. But now it's kind of like, actually, you got to explain to people why you've gone through that because we expect people to just understand. Like, no, nobody understands what you've gone through until you truly explain it. So I
Mm.
had to really pull back, like, okay, explain why, explain your reasoning why. Don't just tell people don't touch it because they don't comprehend why you don't want them to touch it. So being very knowledgeable about the things and the trauma that's collected over the years, that shit's important. You
Yeah.
have to be able to
Yeah.
explain that black bag, explain why you don't want people to touch your things, explain why you don't like the color black bags in your home. Like, yeah, I bought black trash bags. Why would you bring that in here? You don't know nothing about that story, so I have to take back and always reevaluate the trauma because
That's
it's trauma for a reason. Just reevaluate that shit.
because
It's
I
trauma for.
thought about that. I never made that connection with the black bags, and like hearing that
Hmm.
definitely makes me want to cry because this
Hmm.
is all I have to my name is this bag, and I feel like they do the same thing to prisoners. Like, don't
Oh yeah,
treat me like this.
yeah. They give them clear bags though.
Crazy. They get the clear ones.
Yeah,
Black bags
they
are
get the
foster
clear.
care. Clear
Right.
bags are prison.
Oh my
Yep.
Like,
god.
it's
Bags,
crazy.
period. I
That,
don't I don't
Look.
like bags in my home.
mm,
I noticed that I'm a person who like I'm a toter. I'm a tote person.
mm,
Like I always have a lot of totes in my home. And that's just feeling like that's why I don't like moving.
mm.
Because it
Because
makes me feel like
maybe because they're not disposable, right?
they're
So it's
not
like,
disposable. So I keep totes in my home to
mm,
put excess clothes in. And I know that's the trauma because I never had I always used to get like bags to put my clothes in. I never had like a dresser drawer
Mm.
to put my items in. So, it was hard for me to really like put two and two together until I start to like, you know, start hanging stuff up and, try to really understand what living your life normally is. Like, actually, you don't have to put your stuff in totes. Like, put stuff like, seasonal things from your home in totes. You don't have to put your clothes in totes. And it took me a long time to do that. Even like that was like 5 years ago. And I'm 31. So I really stopped using like a lot of totes. But I still have some though.
Oh yeah, old habits die hard, man. So it's all.
Yeah,
But
for
to your
sure.
about your decorative towels, I'm gonna say this now, bro.
Don't touch my shit.
You don't do that, bro. There's no black person house. You don't touch them.
Don't touch nobody decorative tiles. Like, why would you do that? Who taught you?
Who raised you, sir?
Who raised you? Okay. Look,
I
who
know
raised
your
you? Because that
mama
don't make
raised
no
you
daggone
better.
sense.
Like, I know she did. Just don't touch my stuff. But yeah, definitely with the
No.
black bags, I feel Tiffany Haddish with that. I think a lot of times what we go through in, foster care, people really kind of don't understand until they really like take a deeper dive. That's why my book is my book. And I love the fact that shout out to Amanda Evans, my photographer. I call her mine, y'all, because I really just be wanting to feel for it. But shout out to Amanda Evans. And the night before my shoot, I told her that I wanted a cover that was like I want people to like really see me, kind of like, thinking like they don't see anything else but me. You see me, whatever this upcoming look like, the upper body looks like, and then just you see my eyes. I don't want to look directly at the camera. I want it to be black. I want it to be looking like this. And for her to create that like that, when she took the photo, she said, "This the one." And she walked over to me and she was like, "Yeah, that's it." So I'm like, "Oh yeah." I started tearing up. I was like, "That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one."
This is a
And
beautiful photo. It's beautiful.
thank you.
It is. And
It really is.
behind the
It took a
scenes
lot of work.
in the photo, I was like, this was I'm glad you all
You
shared
said what?
the behind the scenes of her taking
Oh yeah.
pictures of you.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you all shared that because I think that was like a beautiful moment of capturing.
Yeah. Oh, it was so dope. It was so dope for her to do that. And me texting her, I'm like, I want this. She like, Ashley, like the night before, and she created magic. Like, and I just wanted people to see that front cover, but then flip that back cover over. Like, bitch, you did a good job.
Good job. But you know what?
And that was my reviews that I got, like from people who saw it before it came out. Like, ooh, this look good. But when you flip it over, like, wow.
Yeah, because
Like
on the
you
back
see a
you look like a
photo.
boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the back you like who want it? Like what is it? No,
I can't wait for
that's
y'all to see
absolutely what it
number
looks
2
like.
though. Number 2 gonna be something
Okay.
different.
Come on, number 2.
You already know you're gonna be back on the show when number 2.
Right.
I know.
I know. So should we book you now or later? Like just let us know.
Right.
Wow.
But so I'm glad that you put those details in there because I think that just helps draw color. Like I think, sometimes you hear people say things like, oh, I was in foster care, and then your mind fills in the gaps. But like when you have those details, like about the black bags and stuff like that, like, because when I read it, I was like, oh, it literally made me think about Tiffany Haddish's story. And then I read into what you were writing more. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness, like, this is traumatizing, like literally traumatized. It's trash. But it also made me wonder, because I think is it called Knock Knock or what is it called? No, Taken.
Taken.
So they knock knock is what happens is they
Mm-hmm.
bang at the door, and it made me wonder, especially with me having abandonment issues, it made me wonder how does that show up in your life today?
With someone knocking on the door?
No, with abandonment, like how does that show up today?
I know that I have what is it called? Separation anxiety, right? Which is similar to abandonment issues. Like I prefer people to announce that they're leaving me. then just leave, because I don't too much comprehend when somebody just blanks out on me like that, which is why it's so very easy for me to leave when things get hard. Like if it gets hard, I become a track star. Like, and I said this on last night's podcast. Like they asked me, what's my toxic trait? I leave when it get hard. Like if it's too hard, I don't want to do it because I feel like I've endured enough pain in my life where if it's not easy, I don't want no parts, because I know what it looks like when it gets hard. Then I'm used to people leaving out on me. But if I leave first, like then I'm not gonna be hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that separation anxiety, when I released my book, it was hard for me to even say the word while I was giving my speech. And um, I had to have a moment. Like it was a moment for me to even get the word out. Like, and I'm like, damn, like why is this so hard? Because I'm used to the people that I loved at the time not be there for me, and just being on the opposite end of that, um, just having people walk in and out of my life. I'm not okay with it. I have an issue with it. Um, like, and again, because I wouldn't do people the way that they do me. Not that it's a consistent thing that happens now, because I mean, if you in, you in, you out, you out. But
Mhm.
just don't be bouncing in and out of my life. So
Right.
I think that separation anxiety is still something that I deal with, and it's especially with my siblings, because they mean the world to me. And it's like once your parents gone, that's all you got
Yeah.
now. You know what I'm saying? So and just a lot of that is acceptance too. The feeling of wanting to feel accepted because you never felt it before.
Mm.
Um, like I just think so deep about that, because again, I've always wanted to feel wanted. Like I'm used to not being wanted. Don't just bounce on me like that. Like so that's it's a problem for me still. But healing don't never stop. He ain't done with me
Child,
yet.
Girl,
Look.
never,
you know all about it.
never. It
Because
definitely never
Done with me
stops.
yet.
done, ever done. Jesus, ever. Wow.
I'm still dealing with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, when you've gone through something from 4 to what? How old were you when you aged out? Were you 18 or was it like a little before that?
I was 19 years old when I aged out. So book two will be 15 to 19.
Okay. Okay. That's still like a huge chunk of your life. You're 31. So that's like I have to heal.
Yeah, I really think about it. It's still it's so recent to me.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because again, I fought depression and suicidal thoughts until I was 21.
Mhm.
So that's 10 years ago. Like, and then 2 years before that, I was 19.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it's like still like yesterday to me.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
so fresh.
Yeah. It's a process.
It's definitely a
It's
process.
definitely a
Always a
process.
process.
Yeah.
Mhm. I definitely love where you're going though. So like Sherry and they talked about like your affirmations in the morning, your sip and speaks. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. This next is gonna be real juicy.
Yeah, excited. Yes, I was definitely putting my picks. Like I want to turn up, but I want to meet some
Hmm.
people too.
Sip
So
and
I
speak
mean,
is definitely gonna be juicy.
I'm ready. I'm ready. So I think where you're going, um,
Hmm.
is in a beautiful space. And you don't need the validation or confirmation from me, but I'm just saying like it's been a pleasure to kind of watch this. Well, this is all I know, like this beautiful spirit. So for me to
Hmm.
hear your story, I'm just like, wow, like you've overcome
Hmm.
so much to be here, and then I only even know like this much, like a
Right.
because you live this, like you know firsthand what it looks like, but people
Hmm.
don't understand that process. Like we see where you are
Right.
now and we like, wow, Ashley's so amazing, like she wrote this dope book, she's such a beautiful soul, like just all of that, but all the work that it took you to get there, like fighting
Hmm.
depression and suicidal thoughts and living in the evil lady's house and losing your the parents that you had that you loved so dearly, like losing them. So it's like all of these things that you had to go through to get to where you are today is like
Hmm.
Burn, 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 burn. Like, because that,
Right.
uh,
Yes, yes.
And
I think a lot of it has to do with me just wanting to I just want to show myself better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always say everything starts with you. It really, if you want to be better, you got to start somewhere. And that somewhere is with you because you're the person that you want to make better. You're the person who you want to see grow. We yearn for a lot of things, but the things are within us. It starts in the core of us, in our hearts. We love, but we gotta love ourselves, right? We want, but we gotta want ourselves. Like we want to heal and we see all the beauty in everything, but we never really do it with ourselves. That's why I said at the beginning, like I kind of just want to be okay with accepting compliments because I worked hard for it. Like I worked hard for not just the compliments, but for me to be me, for me to feel like a person again. Like, and
mhm,
it's okay for somebody to acknowledge that you are a person. And I see you, and as hard as that is, and trying to really just understand, like, you put yourself in a position where you're going to win. Like, you're going to succeed. You're going to make it. You are somebody.
mm,
You are not that damn case number no more. Like, you are Ashley S. Stokes. Like, and own that shit. Like, own who you are, regardless of how ugly your story is. That's just what makes you just the beautiful person that you are because you started here, now you here. Like that's why it's so hard for me to not cry when I look at photos of me as a baby. Like not as a baby as that, because I don't have no baby pictures,
mm.
but from seeing myself as a shorty, like, and now I just be like, damn, like I just can't wait to tell my kids one day. One
Oh,
day I'm gonna tell them, they're gonna be like, damn, you tight.
yeah.
right, exactly.
Yes, they sure are. Cause I'm like, dang, you tight. Like this is amazing. So
At some point, I'm gonna be like some superhero shit.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Last time when you were on, you talked about you had this whole analogy around how life is like a classroom, right? And how
Mhm.
my classes might not be the same as Chanel's classes, they might not be the same as
Right.
your classes because life is giving us the classes that we need to make us into the person that we
Mhm.
need to be. So my question to you is why do you think you had the classes that you had? Like, how does that impact your purpose?
Um, that's a good ass question. I think that it impacts my purpose because um, my story is not for me anymore. It's not a place that I'm at, and it's for somebody who's going through it or who's afraid to tell the story of their life, who was just like me, who is that kid. You may not have been in foster care. You could have been right in your damn parents' home and something been going on in the home, and just recognizing that, I went through what I went through because I got a story to tell. Like the things that I want to do and the things that I've been through, like it deserves to have recognition. Like and to put that into perspective, like not only on book but in film.
mm-hmm.
Like I that's what I want. I want for people to see it so that they can be like, I can do that shit too. Like I can feel empowered and loved and embraced regardless of what I've been through. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel that, and it starts with you, like wholeheartedly within yourself. And I think that's what my purpose is, to tell my story and be acknowledged for, like, damn, like you really went through some things, and me too. Like I'm telling my story because of you. Like and I think that even when people tell me the things that they tell me, it's like, wow, like I would have never thought in a million years that it was people just like me. Like when I was a kid, I thought I was the only person in the world going through this shit. So for me to see it now on the opposite side of that, it's like, wow, it's like me too type of thing. And And I respect people so much where like they feel so comfortable with sharing that side of them. My purpose is for people who's really going through it and who's afraid to speak on it. And it don't have to be foster care. It's whatever your story is. You just gotta tell that shit. It's your story. It's your truth. You gotta tell people to kiss your ass because life is about perspective.
Yeah.
And shit, it's your perspective. That's what your story is. It's from your view. Can't nobody tell you about you. They didn't. I mean, even if they did go through it with you, even if you had a twin and y'all had endured the same things, but maybe your twin could have saw it differently,
Mm.
and you saw it differently too. Like life is truly about perspective. So, take them classes. Take them classes how you get them.
Take those classes how you get them. But no, I love that you create that space, like Chanel said, the sip and speak, because it allows other people to
Hmm.
be seen,
Absolutely.
because just like you, they also have people that tell them, like, don't tell that story, don't say that didn't happen, or
Hmm.
try to gaslight them or give them the version that they want them to tell.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I was trying to help you and you did
Hmm.
this, and it's like, no.
Right. Right.
This is what happened, right? So
Hmm.
I love that you give people a platform to be able to
Absolutely.
just to stand in their truth, because it allows you to, like I said, to accept yourself more when you can speak your
Hmm.
own truth.
Yeah,
So there's a lot
Absolutely.
of beauty in it.
it sure is.
Agreed.
I love
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
This was good. Your story is so good, and I'm looking forward to part 2 of your.
Yeah. Everybody like, so is part
Give
two
us the
coming out
part two,
next? Like, is
please.
it like when is it coming out? I ain't telling y'all.
It's so funny because I looked on your website yesterday, so I'm like, now am I missing something?
I
Like,
ain't telling y'all. Y'all just gotta stay tuned. Y'all gotta stay
I know
tuned.
that's right, right,
Y'all gonna be locked in though. Y'all gonna be locked in. Make sure that y'all subscribe.
right. I know that's right.
yeah,
Lock
Before we
in.
go, I do have to ask, how did
Yes, ma'am.
you overcome depression and suicidal thoughts?
that's good.
Therapy. Therapy, 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 more therapy. um, so I think that was probably one of the hardest things, right? Because I didn't want to own the fact that it was over with. I wanted to go back. Um, and in a lot of my stories, like I tell y'all a lot about what I wanted to do to people, and me being an adult recognizing like you are not there anymore. If you do harm to people, then something bad is going to happen to you. Where you ain't never been to jail before, so you don't want to do nothing like that. And really recognizing that I'm not in that space anymore, it was so hard for me to own that, because I felt like because I was in that space, I should go back and take care of it, like fix it. And I had to own the fact while doing therapy, um, that I'm not there no more. And as hard as it was for me to admit, I'm telling you, it was like it's kind of like countless hours of therapy. I think my therapist probably worked overtime with me because, like, my therapy session wasn't like no hours; it was like hours, like really put into me, getting me to really see the differences of you know here and now. Like, you're not there no more. So how are you going to move forward with your life? How are you going to choose to be happy? What do you believe in? What do you want for you? And just answering those questions for myself and really like telling myself, I want to be happy. I want to be better. I want to live better. I want to love better. I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to just keep moving forward with like my life and how I saw things as. You know what I mean? Like, so for me to overcome, I had to own it. Like, I really had to own my story. Like, and that's why, my slogan, I would say, my story, my truth, kiss my ass. It's about ownership because in order for you to grow, you got to own that shit. And like, it is what it is. Seeds don't grow without water. So, you need the sun to grow. You need water to grow. So in order for you to move forward, you just gotta own who you are, own where you come from, own everything about you and love it too. Because as ugly as it is, you gotta love it, you gotta own it, and you gotta take that, you gotta eat it. Like it's I don't know, it's kind of like it's hard to explain, but I think I after I owned it, like I didn't want to. I didn't want to. Um, I wanted to again keep touching that stove, like keep going backwards, but my therapist is just telling me like that ain't where we at this week. What we gonna do to move forward? And really putting it back on me. And her ritual for me is ownership to keep me present. That's why I'm a person who don't really like to live a fairy tale life. Like, cause I'm gonna be real. Like, you don't know if this gonna work. Like, I'm a realist, so real to where it almost sounds negative, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like, you have to stay present and own what you got going on right now to move forward. So that's how I truly fought depression and suicidal thoughts, was just owning the fact that I wasn't there no more. So
Mm.
it sucked.
That's good. And that's wonderful. So shout out to therapy and your therapist because
Therapy. Get it however you gonna get it. And therapy is just not sitting down talking to somebody. Therapy is how you view it, right?
Mhm.
Is it could be talking to a bunch of women like yourself. It could be, writing, journaling,
Mhm.
um, running, but and you still got to release. So them thoughts don't go away. You got to release
Yeah.
that. So sometimes I didn't feel like writing in my journal. I scribbled some days. I wrote my name over and over, you know, and those are pages that I keep in my journal. Even now, like if I don't have a thought, because it's my goal is to, meditate every morning and night, and I journal every morning and night. So even if I don't have a thought, I make sure I scribble something in there. It got to be something in my journal for me to release, even if the thought is scribbling, because that's just how I felt at that moment. So yeah, ownership is huge.
Ooh.
No, that's good. That's good.
Indeed.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh
The
man.
accountability.
Let's
Yeah,
else
y'all call it accountability. I call that shit own it.
own
Got to
it.
be some Drake on some
Okay.
Drake shit.
Own it. Yes. I love it. Definitely run through one more time where our listeners can find your book. Is merch available? Just give them a whole shebang on what's going on.
Merch will be dropping real soon. I know everybody asking about it. It's dropping real soon. Stay
Is it
tuned
gonna
for
say?
more.
Is it gonna say "kiss my ass"? Is that
That's it.
okay?
That's it. It's definitely gonna say my story, my truth, kiss my ass. If you do not know what the ass stands for, it is Ashley S. Stokes. That is my full name. And that is my handle for Facebook as well as Instagram. Follow me on Instagram for sure. And go and catch my book. Y'all want to see a picture of it?
Don't
There
show
she goes.
it. Oh,
There she goes.
fancy. Mine.
Catch Lost in Child Welfare.
Nice.
Catch Lost in Child Welfare on my website, AshleySStokes.com. Subscribe to my club. Ladies, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the club because, we have to get ready for the club. Hair, nails, feet, everything got to be did. Okay, so make sure that y'all subscribe to the club, and I just can't wait for y'all to see what's next for me. Merch will be dropping very soon, so I mean, like you blink, it's gonna be there. Don't blink too fast, you might miss it.
Right, you might miss it. Look.
Well, we
Yes.
ready
Okay, well
for this.
before we go, we are gonna do our to go box.
Yeah.
So Chanel, we will start with you. What are we taking away today?
a, a lot of gems. This conversation was dope as I knew it would be. But I'm definitely taking away like just putting you first, like loving yourself. I think that's just a constant mantra that we have to tell ourselves, especially as women, especially as Black women, to, you know, do the things that we need to do for our own healing first before we try to go out and save and help everybody else. That's definitely what I'm taking away.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Ashley, what are you taking away?
I am taking away ownership because, like Chanel said, a lot of it has to do with you. Everything revolves around you. In order for you to succeed in life, you just have to want better for yourself, and that just takes accountability as well as ownership to move forward because seeds need water, seeds need sun, and in order for you to have them leaves, baby, you just gotta own that shit.
Awesome. Love it. And I'm going to take away self-acceptance, right? Which includes
Yes,
ownership, right? Accepting you, loving you, owning who you are, accepting what happened to you, accepting who other people are, right? Accepting
hmm
if the stove is hot, right? Sometimes we don't want to believe the stove is hot, but
but it be
according
hot.
to my research, right? According to my research, the stove is hot. So, accepting it, right? Just being able to
hmm
accept things for what they are instead of trying to make them until we want them to be.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. I can dig it.
all I can dig it too. Thank you so much for coming. This has been the time just flew by. I had more stuff
Oh, she
to
gonna be
talk
back.
about.
You already know.
I'll be back.
Ashley,
But it always goes like this, you know. Same thing with Wendell, right? Like we never can just finish the book because the conversation goes in so many different places. But
Yes,
we do appreciate you taking the time to come because, like I said, I know you're on tour, honey. You
oh,
are on
I
tour,
am on tour.
what?
and we love it. We love it. We love it. So, thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Besties podcast. Until next time, peace.